Time to start the conference finals in the NBA. We get to the Western Conference Finals. Game 1 today, Lakers at the Nuggets. Tomorrow will be game 1 for the Heat at the Celtics. So the same Final Four that we had a couple years ago in the bubble. Everybody said that bubble title was a fluke, Erik. I have to hear it all the time. People call it a Mickey Mouse title. The Lakers didn't earn it. Well, all four of these same teams, different looking right now. They're still back here. It's kind of funny that we have that same Final Four this year that we did a few years ago. Just kind of an overall view on the four teams right now that we have left.
I mean, he underachieved. They shot well against the Bucks. Knicks just didn't have enough firepower. Celtics ball isn't moving as well, but Tatum scoring a lot. Nuggets looking good, looking really, really good. If Joker's shooting 46% from three, no one's beating them, and that's just a fact. AD, very consistent right now. You can definitely say that the top two players in the playoffs are Joker, AD, then an insane gap down to whoever you put at three, Butler, Tatum, whoever.
Yeah, I'd agree. Because then the thing is, you know from both of those guys, that's why tonight's game will be so fascinating, because it really does feel like strength on strength. And if there's anyone in the league that could really make Jokic work, it might be AD. Then on the flip side, AD's not quite as good defending just a big guy. He's a little bit better overall, right? Because he's so versatile, because he can help, he can, you can funnel guys to him, he can recover. So just will be a fascinating matchup. And as we kind of shift on over to talk about that game, because that's today's game, Erik, we remind everyone that we're going to be looking at DRF Sportsbook for the betting lines right now. And we encourage you, if you're in the state of Iowa, to sign up for a DRF Sportsbook account. Use our promo code FAST1000. You'll get a $1,000 deposit match anywhere in the state of Iowa. We'll talk some Thrive Fantasy in just a minute, some daily fantasy and some other props that we like. But getting into this game, I was going to say, I'm a little surprised to see one of your plays for tonight, that the first one we were talking about the Nuggets and the Nuggets minus the 6. Myself, obviously, as a Laker fan, these are the games or the series that are sort of the most difficult when you have to be a fan and a gambler, right? And you have to try to do both because, yeah, of course, I want the Lakers to win, but I've never really been one that comes out here and says, oh, go bet the Lakers all the time, right? Because that's just not, that doesn't make sense. They're not very good value. It's all about numbers. I don't think they're going to win all the time. This matchup is fascinating for me because I try to stack it out, just sort of who's defending who. And as I'm playing it out in my head, how do you think Denver is going to approach just sort of starting it? How do you think they'll try to start defending Anthony Davis? Who do you think will be on him to begin?
I'd probably say Gordon.
I think so too. I would imagine they probably want to try to hide Jokic if possible, right?
Oh, of course.
So,
of course.
So it'll be fascinating to me. Can they do that on a team that already has Michael Porter Jr. out there and Jamal Murray? It's going to be a fascinating chess match to me because I feel like that might be 2 or 3 guys that the Lakers can attack as far as try to get them in the pick and roll, try to make them defend. Jokic is a better defender than I think he gets credit for. Like, he's not a turnstile, but he's not going to be someone that if you get him switched out onto a small, he's probably in trouble there. So I'm like playing this out in my head, Erik, and I'm really fascinated in like the chess match because I think if you're the Lakers, it might make it a little easier for Denver if you have someone like Vanderbilt out there, right? Because then Jokic can sort of defend Vanderbilt and not have to do much. If you start with, I don't know, Rui or Schroeder and you have more offense, that's going to put Denver in a tough spot because one of Denver's real struggles and their weaknesses is their defense. This might be, like we saw with Phoenix, like a real up and down type game and type series.
Yeah. like you said, fascinating matchup. My thought process with Denver is this: they're 5-1 ATS at home during the playoffs. For the year, they had the best ATS record, 13-16-1. In his career, in game ones on the road, LeBron is 4-14 ATS. So historically speaking, LeBron is not covered. But two of those four have come this year. He's covered both game ones. Look, Denver's a tough place to play because of the altitude. I don't know if you've watched the pre-game intros, but psychology, the mental part of the game, is a true thing. So what they do is they give a warning about high altitude, what it can do to you. They've been doing this all year.
Like you're about to ride a roller coaster, right before you get it.
And then they'll say, and now let's welcome the Los Angeles Lakers, who are only X above sea level. But you know what I mean? Like,
that's great.
They lay it out
it is
for you. And I mean, like, props to them for doing that. Also, I really think, part of AD's success is we just kind of look at who he played the first round of the playoffs. He really didn't play people that are a true post-up threat or someone with a reliable jump shot. Like I said, Joker shooting 48, 46% from three, pulling him away and not really allowing him to wander on defense. Like, how is that going to look? Number two, the thing that really blew me away for the Warriors series is they weren't able to do stuff to get D'Lo off the court. D'Lo, I think we can all agree, when you look at the backcourt, is the worst backcourt defender that the
Lakers have.
So realistically, who are you gonna put him on? You're going to put him on KCP. So I think this is shaping up to be quietly a little KCP game where they're going to look to get him involved.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. And I did the same thing. And it's just him playing the Lakers too. We can't. Yeah. It's a little narrative-y. You pointed out one of the only sports where we can really play some of the narratives is basketball. KCP's been better at home. KCP is going to get 5 or 6 corner three attempts. He's going to likely have the weakest Laker defender on him in that situation. You and I both went KCP. I went KCP to score 10, which was like minus 20. You went KCP over the 9.5. So we're both on the same side there. And
I also threw in KCP over 1.5 threes late. Got nice. That I think at a plus 118. Real quick back to the Lakers. I just, like you said, I don't trust the Lakers defensively.
I trust the Lakers a lot more defensively than I do the Nuggets. Because
let me rephrase that. I don't trust their backcourt defensively. Okay, I don't trust the Lakers backcourt defensively. Lakers
my small counter to that would be, like you said, even if they do play, the one thing I was a little bit not impressed, but D'Lo did probably the best job that we would have expected him to do in that series, right? Like you said, a lot of people might have said D'Angelo can't even stay on the court against the Warriors. At least my only counter is sort of like, at least if he does this, he's not a small guy. And that's kind of what helps keep him on the court, is that he's not one of those really undersized guards. Now, because I feel like if the Lakers were to take D'Lo out and you bring Schroeder in, there are some lineups where, comparing what the Lakers have on the court versus the Nuggets, I feel like the Lakers don't, when it's LeBron, AD, Rui, Schroeder, and Reeves, combinations like that, there's not many weak spots defensively or spots to target. So that's, I guess, one thing that I'm kind of wondering. I'm wondering what the trickle down is going to be like. And that's what leads me to Austin. Erik, I'm playing it all out in my head because, like we said, so if Gordon is on AD to start, that puts KCP on LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. So, because that's what I'm, start doing this math here. Then who's on Reeves? Porter Jr. or Murray? He may, with his game and the way that he can bait fouls and stuff, this might be a Reeves situation. Because you're right. Maybe D'Angelo struggles a little bit because it might be tough for D'Angelo with Murray and Porter and some of their perimeter guys out there too. Maybe this is more of a Schroeder and a Reeves. So I think for game one, I'm going to go Reeves. Erik, it looked like he hit a wall early in the Golden State series, and I think he's kind of caught his second win now. Like the last few games, he got a lot more confidence, and I think the ball sort of playing it all out in my head. They don't want to start Jokic on AD, but if they don't do that, it might have a trickle-down effect for the Laker role players, the guys that we saw that can really handle the ball. So this will be the one time recently where you and we got a beer bet straight up because I didn't play the money line. I just felt like this might be a tad. I was expecting when it popped for it to be like 4.5. So in my head, I felt like there might be a little bit of value between there and there. So I just took them, again, not even on the money line, but at plus the 6. Erik and I beer bet straight up against each other tonight. Lakers, Nuggets, but we both are rolling on KCP, my old chant. KCP for 3! Just love to scream that, man. I loved me some KCP too. He's a good teammate.
It's going to be interesting. Like what I think the Nuggets are going to do is when they go on the pick and roll with LeBron, they're going to blitz him and they're going to force the ball to get out of his hand. That's going to leave some corner threes open for Reeves.
Because they can also, both of these teams, I really feel like they're both playing by far the best teams that they've played in the playoffs so far. Just as like teams that can give you different options, that can throw different things at you. As you mentioned, the Lakers haven't really had to face a big man yet. They faced Jarrett Jackson and then Looney and Draymond. So they were in even a few games. Tillman,
AD was mainly matched up on Tillman in that game.
But even
roaming a lot.
And Tillman still had a couple good games. Then you look at Denver, who they've played. You know, they caught Minnesota in round 1. Minnesota was struggling. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. They didn't have a lot of depth. They have some locker room issues. And then they caught Phoenix, who we knew Phoenix didn't have a whole lot of depth either. They were basically playing like 7 or 8 on 2, when Denver and Phoenix were playing. So it feels like both of these teams are going to get a step up in class today, I think, especially defensively, like for the Lakers having to deal with a team that has Jokic, Gordon, Porter Jr., Murray, all guys who can be offensive. And then you've got KCP wide open in the corner if you cheat. They're a really, really well set up offense. They're beautifully built. Like they have the pieces that they had been missing the last couple of years. We're not even talking about guys like Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, Christian Brown, who come off the bench and they can add a little different flair. I definitely feel like this is the best team, and this will be a team that's going to make the Lakers work defensively. Sounds weird because they just beat the Warriors, but it's different, right? You're not going to be completely focused on Steph and Clay like you were here. It's a lot more Jokic, and you're going to be helping on the big man. It's like a totally different way you have to defend this team.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting chess match. And then what happens if one of Denver has kept a pretty snug bench.
Yeah.
With Green, Brown, and Braun. What happens if they have to differ? What happens if they have to go a little deeper?
The foul trouble or something like that, right? Yeah. And the same thing for the Lakers, because the Lakers have to throw one of those bigs out there. I kind of look at it like, in a baseball series, a 7-game playoff series, or throughout a long baseball season, sometimes you need guys to go out there and just eat up some innings, right? Mm-hmm. The Lakers might need 2 to 3 minutes of Mo Bamba to go pick up a foul or two, right? Some more Wenyen Gabriel. They may need a few of these big bodies just to come in, give them Tristan Thompson for 2 minutes, a shift or two, give Anthony Davis a breather. Maybe AD picked up an early foul. In the last series for the Lakers, when Darvin Ham needed to make adjustments, he went to Lonnie Walker, right? He went to guards off the bench. I think this series, the Lakers are going to have to be bigger, right? Overall, whether it's more of a Rui series, whether they have lineups where they're throwing Rui and LeBron and AD all out there, or they've got, AD's out, then maybe you've got Rui, Wenyan, and LeBron out there together, right? They're going to need some size because if they don't, Jokic is going to eat them alive. He will eat them alive.
And I'll just say it right now, if he's shooting 46% from beyond the arc, the Lakers have no chance.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think for the
shooting
same
that well.
Yeah, I think for the same reasons what you were saying about AD I think overall we'll still see great Jokic, but I don't think he's going to have like the 50-point type game here because I think he's going to have to work a little bit more on the opposite side. You know, think about the Suns. Who was he having to defend? Ayton. Nothing.
Yeah, and they really weren't doing anything defensively. They'll make him work a little bit more, but this is so another way to look at it is this is Joker's time. Like, I mean,
this is his series, his year, his team, right?
This is time.
The moment.
This is time. He can kind of like that year Giannis had where like he won the MVP and won the finals and everything. This could be Joker's year. This could be the year he does it just because the whole narrative, hey, what you did in the playoffs, we can't give you a regular season award, makes zero sense to me. And that's why Embiid got it. Fun fact, Embiid's the first guy to win the MVP, never to make a conference final.
I saw that one.
Fun fact. Yeah. And he's also the MVP that had the biggest scoring drop from the playoff to the regular season, over 9 points. But yeah, this is Joker's time to shine. This is going to be his time where he can put his foot down as, hey, this is my league. I'm one of the better players. I should have won the MVP, because Kendrick Perkins decided to make it something. I didn't win it, and it should have been my award. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. It's gonna be a very chess match. I think one of the key components is who's gonna be the role guy. Like if I had to look at Denver, who's gonna be that guy 4 down that could be the difference maker? I'd probably say Bruce Brown.
I completely agree because the way he cuts, right? The way he plays. Just think about what Peyton was doing. Right.
Yeah.
And you kept kind of hitting on Peyton in the Warriors series. Once they made that adjustment and Peyton was in, he would cut. How many easy layups did he get? Right. Where he's just right at the bucket. I mean, in the first quarter, he'd get 3 or 4 baskets right away because there's going to be so much focus on Jokic and Murray and Porter Jr. even that a guy like a Bruce Brown, you can't help it. You always have to leave him if your choice is Jokic, right? You're always going to leave Brown. So those are the guys that are key. He can light it up. He's got a great intensity too. I'm excited for this series. I really do feel like I think these two teams have probably looked the best throughout the playoffs of any of the teams, I think, in both conferences.
Oh, yeah.
Just as far like steady, consistent, like 1 or 2 bad games, but overall, like I've been very impressed with the Lakers. Like they're playing better than I even thought they would at this moment. And the one guy I want to give a lot of credit to is Darvin Ham because he's made great adjustments when they've had to. I don't know if Denver needs to make as many adjustments because they're just like, hey, we've got Jokic. We're just coming at you. We're just this wave of incredible offense versus the Lakers. They're not quite as offensively overwhelming, but they have just different pieces they can use, right? Like you said, the chess pieces that Ham has made are the moves that he's made on the chessboard. First series, like first guy coming off the bench is Rui. Rui's getting big moments, and then Rui lights it up. Then Beasley gets out of the rotation a little bit more. He knew when it was time to start with tapering Vanderbilt's minutes down a little bit more. Schroeder came in at the right time. He pressed the button on Lonnie Walker, just figuring that Lonnie would be a good matchup for Steph and Clay going at them. So he didn't have a perfect year, and it was a hard year up and down for him, man. Ham, he's a good coach, and he's been on good staffs, but he had to deal with Westbrook, a lot of drama. Dude, this guy's in the Final Four, and he's done a really great job. There's not many years where you're going to have to deal with more than Darvin Ham had to deal with this year for the Lakers, right?
No, I mean, he's done a great job. He's handled situation stuff. I mean, it also helps that you have LeBron there. I mean,
because he's another coach on the floor.
LeBron is basically like a rookie. Like, how can I word this? He's basically like the veteran coach on the sidelines. Like, he's going to help you out. Those two get along, so he's going to point him in the right direction.
we've talked about this before, Erik, and I will give Bill Simmons credit because he pointed it out. But this is something that you have mentioned in LeBron can be like the best leader and sometimes a not very good leader also. But a lot of it depends on if he really believes in his team, like if he thinks they can win. He has done an amazing job with this team this year. And he hasn't been perfect with the Lakers. There have been times where you could see he was a little checked out. He didn't like this. He could have embraced this guy differently. He could have done this differently. What he's done for like Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis and D'Angelo and their confidence and just instilling them. And I think, like you said, helping Darvin with just another leader out there. And, you know, Darvin's smart too. Like LeBron the other day, Darvin pulled him out of the game. LeBron went to the bench, took a swig of water, and came right back in, right? And Darvin didn't get mad and didn't try to start crap with him. It's like, he didn't try to say, this is my team. You go in when I say. It's like, dude, you got a guy like LeBron, and he's ready, and he feels like he's going to go back in these big games. Take a step back, let him go. LeBron knows his body. You can't do that with everyone, but they know, and got to give him a lot of credit because he's done fantastic. And there's going to be a coaching carousel now, right, Erik? We know that Doc, no surprise there. Doc got fired. Who for the Bucks, as we make some of our last statements before we take a look at Thrive Fantasy, who would you like as a head coach for the Bucks?
That's an interesting question. The guy, like, I'll be honest, no Doc for me at all.
Because the ones we're hearing recycled are Doc, Nick Nurse, Monty Williams, obviously, because they all just got fired and they all might get recycled.
Yeah, I would not want any one of those. I actually would go a different route. I want, oh my God, I'm spacing on his name. He's for Miami. I believe it is. I'm Googling Miami Heat coaches right now. Give me 1 second.
You've mentioned him before on the Miami staff.
I want Chris Quinn. Yeah, I think he's been around. You know, he played in the league. He's been leading under Spoelstra. Bring some of that toughness, bring some of the heat. What the Heat do. Heat are very well coached up to Milwaukee. The thing Milwaukee's done is they've been very good with the developmental stuff. And I mean, like, honestly, for as much crap as Bud gets, a lot of the innovation with the three-pointer and everything, that was Bud. So Bud does need a little credit for that. But his time is just kind of been due. I would go with Chris Quinn. I really hope they don't go Monty. I really hope they don't go Doc. I really hope they don't go Nick Nurse. I'd rather want to see like a younger guy that Giannis connects with, that they kind of do this thing together with. But with the bad heat, the bad blood between the Bucks and the Heat, is that something that could come to fruition? I think one of the big pieces that's going to fall is what happens tonight in the draft lottery. Detroit, their coaching job is obviously opened up. You know, are they going to like, if they get the first round pick and they get the kid from France, which is this next generational talent, and you're like a Nurse, a Monty, or a Doc, and you have a chance to coach him, Kate Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, all this young talent, that's something that's pretty interesting. You know what I mean? Like, would you go there because your window is going to be a little bit longer, as opposed if you go to Milwaukee? Something else to kind of think about is the guy that used to coach the Celtics. He said he's going to Houston. We need to remember, like, way back in the day, Billy Donovan agreed to become the Magic coach, and then as soon as the Thunder's job opened up, he bolted to go to OKC.
This has happened a few times.
So could we see that situation? Oh, this is up now. You know what I mean?
Like, if you were him right now, there's 3 jobs that just came up that you would seriously think about, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I have a feeling, and don't get me wrong, I like Matt. I've met him a couple times, but I think it's going to become very toxic because I think he's going to have the mindset, hey, I played college basketball. I went to Michigan State. I played from Izzo.
I know what I'm doing. I'm in the room.
He's going to be very, very
hands-on.
And I think Phoenix could turn very toxic very quickly, just because of what I know. You know, Milwaukee's going to be interesting.
Honestly, you know what it is, Erik? It's those Michigan State folks. Really. It says Michigan State, man. Just count them out. Just count them out, right?
And someone interesting, and I mean, I think it'd be really fascinating to see him on the sideline. He's one of the guys at ESPN. Like, I'll watch his videos on Twitter, and I actually kind of like him. JJ
Like,
Redick, I know he
oh,
interviewed up
JJ
in
is
Toronto.
fantastic.
I
JJ and
know, yeah.
Legler are the two best, like, as far as really
Legler's
breaking.
got the life. Like
Yeah.
the media stuff he does with his older kids and everything, he ain't going anywhere. But someone
Yep.
like JJ, I could see JJ getting into coaching. But yeah, I mean, like,
He'd be
who
great.
knows? Like, what if I'm Nurse and Doc and Monty, I'm sitting back, I'm seeing like what is going on with this NBA draft tonight, who gets the one pick, and then I'm kind of going from there, because I mean the hype around this kid is just at an all-time high right now, and if he's even half what people think,
I know, it's scary.
you're gonna get a ticket to a couple championships.
Draft lottery tonight. We'll see where Big Vic is going to be headed, Victor Wembanyama. So, Erik, as we shift over to Thrive Fantasy, my two plays for today were just the same two that I had mentioned. I can parlay them up for $10, and my $10 or my $15 parlay would get me back 48. Austin Reeves over 14.5 total points. Gordon has to be on LeBron or AD. KCP is probably going to have to be defending up a little bit and helping out on LeBron. It just feels like Austin Reeves is going to get a lot of Murray and a lot of Porter on him. And I could see him, he's a smart basketball player. I could see him baiting them, getting them into foul trouble, shooting a lot of free throws. I went Reeves over 14.5. Then you and I both on KCP. He's going to be wide open, probably D'Angelo guarding KCP, because the other offensive players for Denver are all kind of threats. Like, you can't just leave Gordon alone, because Gordon can attack the basket. He's become a lot better offensively. You sure can't leave Murray alone. You sure can't leave Michael Porter Jr. alone. And we know you can't with Jokic. So they have 4 legitimate attackers starting. I think it leaves KCP wide open for plenty of 3 opportunities. Those are my 2 Thrive plays for today, Erik.
My 2 is I did LeBron over 5.5 assists. We saw the assist numbers that Booker was putting up. Let's face it, LeBron can make passes, Book can't make. I think they're going to blitz him. I think they're going to double him. So I did LeBron over 5.5 assists. And then my last one is I just want KCP over 1.5 block steals.
Nice.
He's gone over this. His last 2. He's averaging 2 of these per game. So I just think what they're going to have with KCP, he's going to be the primary defender. He's going to be, and there could be situations where he is roaming. If I don't know, like if they put Jeff Green, do you put Jeff Green on AD? Then do you put Gordon on LeBron and let KCP kind of be a wanderer? I don't know. It's going to be a real fascinating matchup. What happens? I think both these coaches in NBA circles are a little bit underrated.
I agree.
And let's also remember, like, Brendan Malone, who is a decorated NBA assistant, is the dad of the Nuggets coach. He's probably been in his ear too about what to do, because he's been around the block. He's won some NBA championships.
Look at the payouts for these parlays. 3.2 times your entry if you get 2 correct. 5.2 times your entry for a 3-prop parlay. That means they pay better than if you were to play these anywhere else. Use that promo code GINO when you sign up, and you will get a match deposit bonus, anything from $25 all the way up to $250. We'll be back tomorrow talking more NBA, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics hosting the Heat. Erik, buddy, good luck to you in all of your plays today. I'm going to join you a little later on. We're going to talk some NFL schedule on your podcast. So I'll be chatting with you a little bit later. Hope you cash, except for that Nuggets minus the 6. We don't want to worry about that one, but the KCP one, cash that one for sure. And good luck, buddy. So talk to you in just a little bit.
Talk to you later, my friend.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us, folks. We'll see you again tomorrow. That is Wednesday, 5:00 p.m. Eastern